Hello, everyone. I want to thank everyone for joining. My name is Corey Sherman, and my research presentation is on continuous authentication with touch, behavioral, and voice on wearable glasses, or I guess you could say better known as Google Glass. Now, this research was analyzed by a number of individuals, such as Ji Ping, Yang Zhao, David T. Gwynn, and others that were mentioned, but have a little bit of difficulty pronouncing. So we're just going to breeze past that and head on to the next slide. Now, moving on to our agenda, we have a list of topics that I would like to cover, so stay tuned. Now, the first topic I would like to cover is the introduction. Now, this goes in depth of what I would like to talk about from the article. Next, we have our background, which also mentions the background of how this article came to be. Next, we have our methodology slide, which mentioned the statistics behind the research of Google Glass and continuous authentication. Lastly, we conclude with the simulation results and resolution. Also, my opinion on why I feel as though continuous authentication is useful or better used than single authentication. So welcome to the introduction, where I want you to ask yourself, what are wearable smart glasses? Our world has kind of transitioned into where everything is smart, whether it's a smartphone, smart refrigerator, smart car, everything revolves around technology nowadays. In addition, Google Glass is a Google brand of smart glasses in which of what was researched in the article. Lastly, I would like to mention why continuous authentication is preferred or suggested better than single authentication. What single last when we talk about the single authentication, I'd like to mention our smartphones where we enter a password or a PIN in which the single authentication method, because it's just after we enter that PIN or the passcode one time, we're automatically on our device. So let's go ahead and dive in. So this is where we begin to talk about what are wearable smart glasses, or like I've mentioned, Google glasses. Smart glasses allow an individual to essentially have hands-free access to the internet. Using voice-controlled actions, users are able to have access to current information without any interruptions. Just as mentioned, it's hands-free, so you don't have to worry about searching up anything. You're just able to use your glasses to assist you. So let's talk about what Google Glass is. What are Google Glasses? Google Glasses are smart glasses with an Android operating system that will display information needed in the user's field of view. For example, if an individual is on vacation and needs assistance identifying a certain object, that individual can look directly at the object, and the glasses will be able to provide information from using the internet. Or let's say if you're looking at a certain mountain and you want to know, hey, what mountain is this? You can look directly at that mountain. You say, hey, glass, what mountain is this? And therefore, the information about that mountain will show up on your glasses. Pretty cool. Next, we move on to why continuous authentication over the single authentication method. So when it comes to the one-time or the single use, a one-time authentication can easily be broken into if someone's looking at your password and notice that you put in a certain PIN. That's one way that it can easily be accessed. Or the user may forget to lock their device when taking the glasses off. Let's go back to using the phone. If you somehow place your phone for a second, if you place your phone down for a second and you forget to lock it, someone's able to grab your phone and have access to all your sensitive information, personal data, and basically have access to it. So moving on, the sensitive information can be stored and accessed on these devices. So I'm going back to the previous point. If at any point if someone has access to your device, whether it's the glasses or whether it's your phone, they get access to all your personal information that you've decided to add on those devices. Now, imposters are able to send context of the user messages and emails. Hypothetically speaking, if I place my phone down and someone grabbed my phone and wanted to send my wife a text message and it wasn't from me, that's one of the ways that they're able to get in there and do something like that. Lastly, the continuous authentication forces users to authenticate through the length of time of using the device. Now, what this means is while you're wearing the glasses, there's going to be, whether it's every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, the glasses are constantly making you authenticate yourself to make sure you are the user of the glasses. Now, GlassGuard, this is what what we mentioned. And during the use of GlassGuard, there were several test studies that were used in order to determine how accurate GlassGuard is. So during this article in section 2, the article introduces the proposed features with real user data. In section 3, we present the continuous authentication system. In section 4, we evaluate the system performance of the continuous authentication system. And in section 5, it concludes with basically the simulation results. Now, the background of the article is basically, like you mentioned, GlassGuard. What GlassGuard is an efficient online user authentication method for wearable glasses. During the observation, they employed a threshold random walking, TRW, which assists in giving high accuracy results when it is confident. There are a series of features for the GlassGuard authentication system. And with these features, the ones that were studied were touch gestures and voice commands. As mentioned earlier in the earlier slides, the GlassGuard, which is the continuous authentication, is all hands-free, which makes it very seamless and easy to use. Moving on to the methodology and what was studied. There was a study for Google Glass, which was collected on 32 humans. The 6 types of gestures that were used during the study were the single tap, swipe forward, swipe backwards, swipe down, 2-finger swipe, and 2-finger swipe backwards. Now, in addition to the touch events, there were also voice commands included as well. The user had to have a voice recording of, "Okay, Glass." And by conducting the study, they were able to create an authentication system for smart glasses called GlassGuard. All in all, during the study of selected that was on the 32 humans, they went through the study, and after it was finished, that's when the authentication system, or the continuous authentication system, was created. Now this graph displays the difference between the mean, max, and minimum during the touch gestures that were displayed in the graph. Throughout the study, there were 156 features in total for the two finger gestures. 81 came from sensor data and 75 came from touch. As you can see in the table 3 in the amount of data collected, we have the number of single tap, the number of swipe forward, number of swipe backward, number of swipe down, the number of two finger swipe forward, and the number of two finger swipe backward for the mean, max, minimum, and the sum. Now, as far as these simulation results, the graph features the 6 different swipe methods that were used from the human interactive data, and which were mentioned in the previous slide. The max pressure that's highlighted is because it performs well with the one-touch finger gestures as opposed to the two-finger swipe methods. The speed feature for the swipe gestures performs just as well on the Google Glass as it would on a smartphone. Now in this graph, the numbers on the left side of the bar speaks about the rank of the feature, while the number on the right shows the number of models that were used. Now the data in the graph was obtained by a tool called GetEvent, in which this allows the data to be collected raw data. The thing that's actually pretty cool about this is that it includes the coordinates of the contact points and the pressure from using the glasses. So depending on how much pressure you were able to use in a single tap or like a swipe forward or backward, it was able to detect the pressure and at the contact point of in which you use it. Now, in addition, the application logs down the data from the accelerometer, the magnetometer, and the gyroscope. Out of the study of the 32, there were 19 males and 13 females that were studied in a 2-hour time frame. One feature that was difficult is the swipe down feature due to how small the touchpad is. Now, if you think about on smartphones, when you're swiping down, you have your smartphones, whether it's a mini or just a regular smartphone, or you might have like an iPhone 15 Pro Max where the screen is bigger. When you compare that to the smart glasses, the contact point is much smaller when it comes to swiping up or down or backwards or forwards. I would like to conclude by briefly going back over everything that was mentioned in the above PowerPoint. Continuous authentication is preferred due to security reasons and the sensitive information that can be accessed through your smart glasses. Just as your smartphone, we have our friends and family, we have text messages, emails, and other personal information we wouldn't want anyone to have an access to. So during the continuous authentication, it makes the user continuously authenticate themselves while using the device. Now also mentioning that the study on the 32 humans through the interactive method created ClassGuard. ClassGuard is the name of the continuous authentication method, and Google Glass is the name of the smart glasses. Smart glasses have become pretty popular nowadays. Another brand that have made smart glasses would be Ray-Bans. So I would recommend checking those out. I would also encourage anyone who has a chance to purchase smart glasses because of how cool and fun it could actually be when using while traveling. Let's just say you decide that you want to travel out of the country and you have a few questions about different statues, mountains, cities, or if you just want to try and find somewhere good to eat in the city, it can be helpful in that case as well. Lastly, I just want to conclude by saying thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. This is Corey Sherman, and thank you.